Welcome to the Regenerative Warrior Show. My name is Dr. Ross Carter. Today, our guest is Christy. Today, she's going to teach us some wonderful things about how to keep our practice in practice, or how to stay in practice, and don't just lose your business during this time of crisis, I guess you could say. So you have a practice that you run, correct?
I work with multiple practices, yes.
Okay, perfect. And so right now, many doctors are struggling to figure out what to do to survive and to thrive, really. I mean, it's not just about, contracting, but it's also about how can I be successful in the future? So let's talk about that.
Well, the thing that's happened in, across the world is, but just focusing more on physicians is that they now have to practice medicine differently than they did before. Mm-hmm. It was a sharp interruption. It wasn't even like you could be invited to the party and decide if you wanted to be a part of it or not. It was, very quick, abrupt change. And, physicians really struggled with that. And then it also, with the telemedicine, that leaves a bridge in there for them to continue to practice medicine. But for those that cannot do any kind of face-to-face work, depending on where you're at in the country, we know that there's been, restrictions at different areas. And then, of course, for physicians that are still offering urgent services or services for patients in extreme pain, things like that, where they're able to treat them, there's just a very limited amount of those opportunities because a lot of those cases were being done in surgery centers. And so now they're, unless you had an office suite or are in an area where you can still do those cases, there's just been a sharp interruption, not only of the way you practice medicine, but also of revenue. Two stressors, boom, boom, right there that yep. Has hit everyone. So that's kind of really been a big challenge for physicians right now. So
you have some ideas on some things that doctors can do. Well, so what can we do actually?
Absolutely. So, now, first of all, you have the essence of time. You've been given the gift of time to decide what do you want to do? What type of business or practice do you want to have? It might mean changing your patient mix. And, there's a couple quick steps that I talked about last night. And first of all, figure out what your days cash on hand are. How much money do you currently have or have coming in? Mm-hmm. And know what your burn rate is so that you can determine, how long can I stay in business the way I'm going right now? Figure out what your telemedicine ratio of revenue is versus what it would have been if you were doing those same patients in office or doing procedures. You need to really get clear with your numbers. And that's not something physicians often do. Even as entrepreneurs, they don't often look close enough at those numbers. And so it's really critical to do that. But I also see this as once you kind of get through that part of it and figure out what you need to do, I do recommend filing for the SBA loan and grant. If you're an entrepreneur, physician, practice owner, business owner of any kind, file the paperwork, get it in, get it done, have your bookkeeper get those things done, because even if you don't access the money, at least it's there. It's there for you. So that's just another quick tip. I don't have any ties to that industry at all. It's just a good trip. Our business did it. I have a staff of, close to 10 people plus multiple subcontractors, and my husband has his own business, and both of our businesses filed for the grant, in case we do need it. We don't know how long this is going to go on. So it's another quick tip. And physicians are challenged with that. On the call last night, a lot of them, in their private chat, they said they're, felt like a failure if they're having to ask for money and ask for help. And we need to know that this is a different time. This is different. This is nothing like any of us have ever seen before. And we just need to be open to that. The third step is where I think we can probably have some of our bigger conversations today, is that I see this as a huge opportunity to grow, as this is our first time in history where everyone is focused on one thing, not only in our cities, states, country, but also our world. And that is on different ways we can stay well. How can we stay healthy? How can we improve our wellness? And for physicians, that provides a great audience and a great opportunity for you. And so I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, Rob.
Well, I mean, that would be in the telemedicine space. I think that, myself included, I'm going to have an all telemedicine practice from now on. I'm coming up with more creative ways to practice. my practices, when I had two big ones, I felt to some degree at one point that I was working for them. So the practice was really to support the staff, and the doctor who's taking all responsibilities for when things don't go well, and taxes, and, oh, by the way, we got to go fix this machine or buy this machine. It was like, okay. And then what it was kind of like this, our revenue was not really rising up like the expenses were. The expenses kept getting higher and higher, and people wanted more money and more benefits and more things. I was like, this isn't working for me. So all I do is focus on services that I can do as a telemedicine provider, and so that I don't have to, have a huge overhead.
Sure. And I like that story, because it's essentially where, most doctors are now. They're starting with a blank slate. And I know that your business has grown too. It grew in a different direction. It was different. We had to think differently to grow it, for sure. And this is a similar situation to where physicians are now. And, there's, a lot of theories, and a lot of these are series, but just running healthcare systems in my career, 25 years in healthcare, I do know that when these surgery centers open up, it's going to be some time before most of the doctors that are providing elective procedures before they're even going to be able to get in. There's going to be more urgent things that have been held off that are going to be put in front of them. And so even when the doors reopen, don't expect you're going to be able to step back in and pick up the same pace that you did before.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's true.
So we need to be smart about that. We need to understand, where are we going to fit into that aftershock? So looking at some other opportunity, first of all, build the audience of the patients you want to serve. A lot of, before this happened, I was really helping physicians, coach them in on, the businesses that they wanted to build, helping them get around, what patient they want to serve. There's a lot of dissatisfaction with the healthcare system, with physicians, and unhappiness and concern even before this happened. And, they lost track of who they wanted to be in that process. And then this happened, and then they really lost all sense of identity. And so, for everyone that's listening, first, decide what do you want to do? You have a total blank slate now,
Exactly.
Really, you've got
this is a huge benefit. See, if you look at it in a negative way, then that's what it's going to be for you. But if you go,
exactly,
you got a reset. You just got to reset. Everybody's has a reset right now. You got a couple months reset to figure out what's important to you and what you want to do with your life.
And there's still ways to generate revenue for physicians right now too. A lot of doctors I've been working with are bringing products into their offices that are focused on wellness. They're putting together educational platforms for them to sell to their patients, whether it's a subscription or something. They're getting very creative. And like I said, they have a captive audience right now. First of all, we can't even go outside. I mean, for the most part, you were pretty much locked in. So now is a great time to come up with all that content that, maybe your marketing team has been telling you, we need this, do it, put your video up just like this, you just got a background of your, family photos, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to get moving forward. And so I think this is a great opportunity. I know regenerative medicine, is a big part of both of our worlds. And I'd love to touch on that a little bit too, if you don't mind, Dr. Carter. So the regenerative medicine space, obviously a lot of outpatient scenarios have, ceased. If there's doctors that are still doing cases in office, that there's some of those that are still out there. But as this continues to go on, and we don't really know where things are going to reopen, at what time and at what frequency, but I really do believe that the physicians that are learning and focused in on regenerative medicine and building up that audience in their communities right now are going to have a very large opportunity when things do reopen, if they can't do those cases now. Because like I said earlier, I don't think even when these surgery centers and outpatient hospitals reopen, you're not going to be first, the doctors that are doing like the surgical cases, they're not going to be the first ones to get in there. And you have an opportunity where you might be able to come in and help serve that patient population with a healing, potential healing with regenerative medicine. And, people are going to be more open to different things because they want to get back to work. They want to feel better, and people are focused on being well. I mean, I would be the first one to say that if someone told me I needed to go into a hospital to get an elective surgery for a torn MCL right now, and I had a doctor say, well, there's another option where you don't have to go into the hospital. I mean, I think everyone's going to be a little creeped out about going into an ER for a while. Focus on what you can do. What can I do right now? Like I said, I know a lot of doctors that are putting together, vitamin plans, weight loss programs, CBD, and you're selling these for profit. Like you buy them at a rate, and then you resell them, and there's some revenue that definitely can be generated for physicians right now to keep them going in business, and because we need you. I mean, I'll say this as well. We don't need physicians going out of business because we need your knowledge. There's so much time and effort that goes into your training, and we can use this time to help grow and have you come out of this even better than you were before and just ready to jump back in. So that's kind of my soapbox for today.
I talk about that all the time. Build your brand right now. I mean, you have an opportunity to build yourself, learn more, learn what you want to do, and then build your brand. Specialize, become an expert.
Right.
So
you don't want to come out of this at the end and go, oh, now I need to learn more about this. Now is the time to learn, because you'll be way ahead of the curve, because there's a lot of people that are sitting still, and I just don't recommend being that person. I do recommend, moving, finding ways to move forward, learn, grow, and just really, really thrive. And now there's so many thought leaders out there on every bit of medical industry that there is. Now's the time for you to research, multiple of them. You don't just hear one opinion. You can actually take the time to learn about, to have several opinions. And so you really can make good decisions for your business and for your practice.
My personal belief is there's going to be something I think cellular medicine is going to take off here. I think cellular medicine is really going to get a lot of focus, because it offers things that, that we can do that people haven't thought about. And if that's the case, if you're a doctor and you don't know about regenerative or whatever you want to call it, cellular medicine, regenerative medicine, whatever, this is the time to learn about it. Learn about stem cells and how they work, and exosomes and NK cells, and, the 50 other things in this area. And so that you can be aware of it, because if suddenly, let's say, the government suddenly says, we're going to start using expanded stem cells to help with the coronavirus. You want to be already knowledgeable in that area, and not go, well, I don't even know what those do. So, and there's plenty of trainings and things online. So you can do that now. It doesn't take that long really to learn this stuff. You just got to, go in there and take the time to learn. So I think that's a really, really important thing that doctors should do. Especially those that are unfamiliar with this, because times are different now, and
they're different.
Traditional, just drug and go medicine, that may have worked for a lot of doctors in the past, but now you've got to, you need to step up now. You need to do your 2.0 version, especially if you've been doing the same thing a long time and you're seeing, hey, I need to add some things.
But the thing is that, your patient or potential patients are also doing the same thing. And so I agree with you, Dr. Carter, that you need to be up to snuff on any potential new type of therapy that might be out there. Your patients are going to be asking these questions, and you need to have, again, you're in a great position to step out as a leader and be the one that has good answers, whether it's good in favor of that therapy or negative against that therapy. You just need to have good awareness and understanding that you're going to be approached by your patients, and knowledge is going to be the powerful tool at that point.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a great opportunity for that right now. Absolutely.
Definitely. So you have your own training that you do online, correct? Tell us about that.
I do. We're doing a webinar right now. We're doing a weekly webinar that's complimentary. You can just hop onto any of my social media pages and find the link and find the next one that's going on. Plus, you can download the recordings and then have the opportunity to talk with me one-on-one. That's my gift to physicians right now to, if they're having some concerns or just not sure, or don't want to express it on the webinar, they have an opportunity to get connected with me, and I'm just offering those resources out to physicians right now, and then giving them the opportunity to work with me deeper to really grow. And the doctors are taking advantage of that, or seeing immediate traction on that. They're like, just having someone who can listen and understand and help them put a plan in place it's been huge, and to help them not feel quite so disillusioned by the situation. You can easily go down that path if you want to, and as deep as you want to.